A lot of times people say, you know what, Lord, I want a mentor. I want someone who could get me to the next level. I want someone who could pour into me. And a lot of times God does that. He answers the prayer, but it's up to you. It's up to me to see when God places you that, to where he places you and when that happens. And so, I want to share a story about what happened in my life. And I also want to share some scripture that's really going to encourage you to open your eyes, your spiritual eyes, to be able to see when God's divine hand is on your life, when God has strategically put you somewhere, and how he wants to use that. You could be at a job right now. You think that your job is just a day-to-day job. But if you open your eyes, God has you there either to serve or to be served, or honestly, in most cases, both, but you have to be able to see it. Now, today I was reading 1 Samuel chapter 3, verses 1 through 10. And let me give you a little bit of background. So in this scripture, Samuel is a younger guy, right? And he's sitting under this man named Eli. And so basically, Eli is an older man. He doesn't even really have his sight like that. It's starting to go of old age, right? But he is serving him. And this is what God said. It says Samuel served the Lord by assisting Eli. So he was in a position where, he probably really wasn't gaining anything from being around Eli, right? But the question to ask yourself is, would I serve when it doesn't gain me, when I don't get anything from it, other than to just serve to be assistants of the Lord? All right. But here's what happened. As Samuel is serving Eli, at the time, they didn't have a church. They didn't build the temple yet. Jesus didn't die. So they used to have these things called tabernacles. What was it called? But basically they were tents, right? Because I looked it up. They were tents that people would set up, little tents, and they would go and worship the Lord there. And it was portable. So they'd close it down, move to the next place, open it up, pray in there. And they were just basically using that to host the Spirit of God, bring God place to place and worship God. And so this is what Samuel was doing. He was hanging out with this man who was doing that. And so one day while Samuel was laying in the tabernacle, he's sitting there. I guess the candle started going out almost. And he's just sitting there, right? And he hears his name. So he thinks Eli's calling him, right? So he gets up. He's going to serve Eli. And then Eli's like, I didn't call you. So he lays back down. He hears again. He's like, did you call me, Eli? He's like, I didn't call you. The third time he goes to ask Eli, did you call me? He was like, that's the Lord calling you, right? So he said, when you hear that again, let God know, or say this. He said to respond, speak, your servant is listening. Now, this happened on an ordinary day while he was sitting here serving. He was serving Eli, the older man, just from the heart, just serving the Lord, didn't even know. And this is what I mean by, you just think that you at a place where you at for no reason, but you really not. You there for a purpose. And I want to share a story about my life or what happened over these last couple months. Some of y'all know, some of y'all don't know, that I moved from one state to another, right? And y'all see me even cry on YouTube. Dang, don't play that video. I'm just playing. But, it was a point where I literally didn't have any more funds left, right? And I was like, but I was applying to jobs, wasn't getting nothing. Finally, God gave me a job, right? When I got to the job, I started getting offers. So this was a okay paying job, but I was having jobs that was offering me double. They was offering me more to come in and serve for them, right? And me being sensitive to God, I literally had to turn down those opportunities and take the job that God said. And he said he assigned me here, right? So I said, okay, this is where my assignment is. This is where I'm going. I'm not chasing the money. I'm going to chase the assignment, because I understand that in life, if you want to really do God's will, if you want to feel like you have a purpose-filled life, not just a money-filled life, you got to follow the assignment. You have to follow God's will. So that's what I did. I went to this job and God put me under leadership, right? He put me under Eli, right? My mentor wasn't old like that, but she was of wisdom. She was a woman of wisdom, right? And while she came here, and it was so interesting, because when she came here, she was full of wisdom, and she could tell that I was a cup. First of all, I was ready to serve, but I was also ready to receive. A lot of times older people have wisdom, but the thing is that the young people treat them like that's old, that's outdated, and they miss the opportunity to grow. But me, I had my cup. I was ready to learn, to listen, and sit under her mantle, right? And she poured so much into me while she was there. Shout out to Dr. Adele, right? I love her so much, and she don't even know. She don't even know. And so she poured into me, and while she was pouring into me, I was able to pour into her, right? And not to the capacity of that, but I was able. I think what it did was revive, something in her, let her know that everything that God put in her is for someone else. And so, she made a impression that will never go away, and it was reciprocal. God was just like Eli and Samuel. Samuel was there to serve, but Eli was there to pour into him. It was reciprocal. I was there to serve, and to serve her, and she all and encourage, and just speak life, and show her the importance of all that she knew, while she was there to speak life into me, to build foundations, to give me things I will never be able to get. And this is the thing about it. Like I said, people say they want mentors, but will you be able to find a mentor in your job, or would you have just written it off, or would you chase the money? If you was me, would you have chased the money that was making double and missed the opportunity to be poured with wisdom that will later have so many other things that I will never add into this video because those are private, but so many other benefits spiritually and for the future. And this is why, I say, when you go into a job, you go into a church, when you go into a community, when you go into a grocery store, when you go wherever you go, understand that you want to serve the Lord in that way. You want to be open to what he is doing there, because Eli, just following this man with barely any vision, sitting in a tabernacle and following God in his purpose, he was able to hear from God in a time where nobody was really hearing from God. He was able to get trained in that. He was able to sit under his mantle. So I hope this encourages y'all, because this was such a powerful message, man. And I pray that you stop looking at life as, I'm here, it's not enough money, I don't like the people here, and start opening your spiritual eyes to what God is trying to do. That's all for this message, you guys. I'm out. Blessings. Peace. I love y'all. I'm out.